Freedom from addiction is possible. It starts with a single step, a moment of decision. Today can be the day you begin your journey to reclaim your life. You have the strength within you. Freedom. You can be free from addictions and habits. Start today. Start now. Get the life you've always dreamed of. Take back control of your habits and addictions. Being free from addictions and habits means you take back control. The addiction or habit may always be a part of your life, but freedom means you control it, and it no longer controls you. You are now the boss over it, and it is no longer boss over you. You have the power to say no and mean it. It no longer tells you what to do and when. You can tell it what to do and when. That is what I mean when I say freedom. You break free from the bondage, mind control, or the chains you were once ensnared in. Freedom means you are now victorious and are no longer the victim. Drugs are not the problem. Neither are guns. They are symptoms of a problem. Removing the symptoms and expecting the problem to vanish is make-believe. It isn't reality. It's expecting the problem to disappear like magic by removing a symptom. An example of, say, cancer. If all the symptoms are removed, it doesn't make the cancer magically disappear. Only the symptoms disappear. The problem, the issue, still exists. Even a weed pulled up by the roots grows back. Oftentimes it's necessary to go beyond the root of the problem to solve it in a permanent manner. Everyone knows that treating symptoms and accepting the excuse called disease never cures and eliminates the issue. The disease, no matter what it's called, is an excuse to remain bound. To remain bound by the problem or limitation, no matter what name it's given. To treat the symptoms and leave the roots intact is to remain bound, willingly. The excuse is accepted as reality. Once this happens, it does become a reality for you, and a healing. A change will not occur. You will die in your sins or the belief in theirs. If those who deceive you into believing that you are doomed, and your only hope is to give up and treat the symptoms and leave the roots intact, doing so will guarantee that your symptoms will never end. This is the perfect plan for the RX company. It guarantees permanent growing sales of their drugs. A perfect plan of deception. The war on drugs is silly. That's no different than saying a war on sugar because of obesity. We control the sugar. It doesn't control us. Sugar is just there. It doesn't have a voice, or arms and legs, or a spirit, mind. It's an inanimate object. Removing sugar will never instantly solve the obesity problem. Neither will removing drugs solve drug abuse problems. Removing guns doesn't stop killing. Drugs and guns don't kill people. A person has to take the drugs or pick up the gun and pull the trigger. Sugar doesn't cause obesity. The abuse and overconsumption of sugar by a person choosing to do so causes the problem or disease. Changing the name doesn't change the reality. It only changes the way you think and feel about it. These are all symptoms. Habits are at the root cause. Our thoughts and beliefs control what we do and don't do. What we do and don't do repeatedly becomes a habit. If we say, we have no power to control it, as if it just happens automatically out of our control, then it's called an addiction. My opinion is that addiction is an excuse to continue in bad behavior. I continued in my bad behavior because I believed what I was told. I was told that being an alcoholic is a disease. I think of a disease as cancer, Parkinson's, autism, and many other diseases that happen to us without us participating in its development. When it comes to becoming an alcoholic, I believe it is more of a habit than a disease. I believe that a habit is controllable and can be eliminated. Autism is a disease, and nothing that I know of is available to remove autism from one's life. That is my viewpoint on being a disease versus not being a disease. Based on that viewpoint, which is my opinion, there is hope of controlling and eliminating the disease called alcoholism, drug addiction, smoking, or insert any habit or addiction here. Believing in addiction is to believe there is no hope, and one must remain in the disease because it is out of your control. To become addicted to anything good or bad, it takes repetition. I don't think a disease falls into this category. If it did, what would be the repetitive act that would cause autism, cancer, or any real disease? Accepting the excuse of addiction and making it equal to a real disease is like saying you have no control over the situation and that you're doomed and there's no way out because it controls you and there is no way out. And so you might as well surrender and not even try to stop or conquer this baggage.